Michelle, you just literally teed up my question that I was just about to ask. So, like balancing the academic rigor and the social thinking that takes place on a daily basis. Can you just talk a little bit about that, about what you're seeing from your side of things and how schools are
Yeah.
handling that?
Well, interestingly, when I really started to specialize in thinking socially, not just behaving socially, I got really curious about my students' academics and academic rigor. And I've now been brought in to consult with international schools and schools for gifted and talented, because, academic rigor and being good academically, what is that? What does that mean? So a kid can score really high on a test, but he can't work with someone else in a group. And we'll keep pushing this kid along. We graduate him from high school. In fact, many kids we don't even force to work in groups. Will go, okay, he just wants to be by himself. We put you off, you go off to college. And I have seen too many people fall apart at the level of college because they actually don't have the social organizational abilities to work together. I've worked with some pretty tragic cases. And then, or folks who've made it into the work world because they're so astutely tuned into a certain part of academics that led to a career, and now they're falling apart at the work world. Not everybody's falling apart, but some are, and having really serious questions because they don't really understand the teamwork of all of that. So I think, one of the big things, if I could do anything in this hour, is to move us away from social, is even as much as I talked about friendship, relationships, but social is germane to us in our community, this fabric, this connectedness, whether that's in career, family, and all the other things we do in the community. Helping someone, opening a door for someone who's got a bag full of groceries. I worry today a little bit that we've all become a little bit more selfish. Weirdly, at some point, they're going to figure out, COVID didn't make us feel more part of the community. It actually made us feel more individualistic than we normally do and less helpful to others.
As we close, we're getting close to the end here. What is the biggest mistake a parent makes in trying to help their child learn about how to make a friend?
Maybe oversimplifying it. Our kids, there's a lot of pressures going on, especially if you got tweens or teenagers. It's not so simple. There's reputations, there's kids making fun of each other, there's posts going on online. And so rather than, saying, come on, honey, just go make a friend, go hang out with somebody. You talk to that kid online, go be with them. Just because you're talking online, once you get into face-to-face, now you've got all of this synchronicity of how are we communicating with each other, and it's just easier online. Online is a singular platform that deals with one level of communication, where the human self has to deal with so many moving dynamics when we relate face to face. So I think understanding where our kids have been through literally us forcing them onto computers to get through their day, to now saying, now just go back out there and relate. And they've got anxiety bigger than most kids have experienced before from all they've been through.
Beautiful. Brett, I'm going to leave you with the last question. Take it away.
I will build off the last thing that you just mentioned, Gilda. Let's say now we're going to move away from let's not do these things, but now I'm a parent or a caregiver, and I have developed some social thinking strategies that we found some success with my child. One of the things you said that really stood out to me was just 14, 24, 40, or 74. Friendships can get easily complicated. So we figured out that friendships and social thinking is a complicated, confusing, nuanced process. So as we're helping our children, our students move through their journey, whether it's a transition from second to third grade, fifth to sixth, middle school to high school to college, who are some of the people that you've seen have been successful partners in sharing these strategies with the young adults to help them navigate just from their day-to-day?
Do you mean career-wise?
Just, from a teacher, I just remember when I got your books, we read them, my aides were ready to go. And then we ran out to the school, and coaches, secretaries, like we were sharing this because my kids were running into these situations where
yeah.
we were trying to help them be as successful as we
Yeah.
possibly could.
Well, I think one of the things that's really been interesting to me, because, you know, I created this to help some people, and then teachers, we started going into classrooms and helping explain what was going on in the class, and then the other kids were interested. There isn't a limit to one who can teach this stuff. One of the things I try to do with my colleagues is break it down so anyone can find this material accessible to them. And then across life, you know, friendships, one of the things that happens is, like, we get more, relationships become complicated, rupture and repair, and then we get discouraged. And, you know, as we move from childhood to adulthood, it gets a little bit harder out there. We don't have what this really lovely group of people that we can depend on always being there between the bell schedule. You know, you go to a college campus and now you can't depend on anyone being there, you know. And so really encouraging students across the years to realize that they are learning, that they have so many more strategies than they had a year ago or 2 years ago. Because a lot of times my kids will go, I've never been able to have a friend. I can't do this. You know, when we have our discouraging time and we're really complaining, I can't do this. And rather than say you can't do this, it's like, you know what? You've actually been learning out there, and your 17-year-old self is not your 12-year-old self. You're actually more mature. Your brain keeps developing. Your 24-year-old self is not your 18-year-old self. And as I work with my 70-year-old client, I'm like, you know, what are you learning in terms of what you want for yourself now? If I've learned anything, it's the social emotional learning and how to break it down and talk about it. It doesn't go away. It's really front and center to our lives all the way across our life. So you know, some of what I talked about today is very relevant to the adults who are listening in terms of just thinking about their own life. The more we can share with our kids our own experiences, the more we help them to relate to, this isn't easy, but it is worth it. Right. To feel part of something bigger than yourself is the best outcome you can have in terms of feeling connected and included in community. Being that caring individual.
Absolutely.
And it's not a female thing. This is as important to men and boys as it is to girls. This is not just, oh, girls relate and boys don't. Boys really want relationships. I've worked with more boys than girls in my work over the years, and men. It is very powerful.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. You've left us with so much. I so value the fact that you are letting us share your website, which I just was there this afternoon. There's so much there to explore about all the things we didn't get to, which we will the next time that you come, the problem solving, the emotional regulation, but it's all there on your website. I'm so grateful to you for letting us know about that. We'll put that link on our page, on your page, on the glenbardgps.org. Also, families that are listening in, please take note of our YouTube channel, which has resources of past events. I mentioned to Michelle that we hosted Andrew Solomon last week, and his recording is available for 2 weeks. So you want to go check that out as well. This time I have 10 pages of notes, and I'm going to go and read them over again and remember all your wisdom that you shared with us tonight. Well, this is where we go hug the kids, Michelle, right now. This is where we hug them and we let them know that friendship isn't easy, but it's worth it. So thank you so much. Thanks, Brett. Thanks, everyone. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.